welcome to Good Day Gardening. I am your host, Jacqueline Ray, and this is my garden. This is the backyard of my garden. For a change, I have some really super cool stuff to show you, and it's Halloween, so happy Halloween, by the way. This year's theme at work, we're doing pirates, so I'm all dressed up in my pirate gear. But let me show you this. I am so proud of this plant. Let me bring you in. Okay, this is my bat plant. Holy smokes, a bat plant. Okay, it needs a little water, but this is what I'm doing. I need to see how many days it can actually go without water before I need to water again. It's been about, I think, 3 days, and it needs a little bit of water to perk it up. The flowers are looking a little tired, but check this out. It's got 1, it's got 2, 3, it's got 2 more flowers down here, that's 5. I had a flower over here that was 6. 6 flowers this thing has. Is this thing happy or what? I couldn't believe it. So I'm really super excited. Now this is the black bat plant. It's called Taka Chantriari or something like that. Chantriari. There is a white one, but I like the black one because, I mean, how many black flowers do you honestly see in your lifetime? Not a whole lot. So I was really excited. I was able to get this plant last year for a really good price. I brought it home. I was going to keep it inside because, you know, bat plant inside, that would be cool. But it wasn't happy inside. I don't have a whole lot of light in the corner that I wanted to, and I'm still working on keeping the interior clean because, God, what a chore that is. Especially when you are so busy doing so many different things. So anyway, so I decided actually to bring this outside, and I brought it out last year, and last year we had a very mild winter. I mean, we had maybe like 2, possibly 3 cold days throughout the entire winter. So, you know, it did fine. And when I originally researched this plant, I found information, it was contradictory information. A lot of people said it wouldn't go below 40, wouldn't go below 40, wouldn't do well. I was like, all right. And then I found people who said, well, its origins are in the mountains of, you know, southern China. And the mountains get pretty cold, and so they were saying that it would do down to very low temperatures, below freezing. So I'm not entirely certain what the cold hardiness of this plant really is. So I'm just gonna kind of find out, and you'll find out with me. So this winter, I anticipate it to be cooler than last winter. Again, since we only had 3 days last winter, you know, we can't really classify last winter being very cold. So anything is probably going to be cooler than last winter, as long as we get more than 3 days of cold. But I think the spot that it's in is actually going to be really good for this plant. It's right next to a giant oak tree, which is going to help keep the heat down. The north is way over there, and I've got a lot of stuff. I got buildings and taller plants and a lot of other things kind of blocking the cold winds from blowing in. So it's going to help keep this spot a little bit warmer. I've got a fence line on this side. You know, 2, actually it's in a corner, so I got 2 fence lines on this side. So I really think this is going to keep a microclimate that's going to be really warmer than normal. Now, another thing I notice is that in the winter time, my house is normally about 2 degrees warmer in the winter time than the airport where I get the local airport where I get my weather information from. And in the winter time, it's actually about 2 degrees cooler in my backyard than at the airport where I get my weather information from. So I think it'll actually do pretty good over here. I think it'll be just fine. I think this is the perfect spot for it. And look, I mean, it's so happy. I just love this flower. It's just so bizarre looking. It's kind of, it really does remind me of a bat. I mean, this is the back of it. So, I mean, it's fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to it. Okay, now I got a couple other cool things I want to show you. Let me show you. They're so cool. Okay, so this is the next cool thing I want to show you. It's sugarcane! Can you believe it? I can't believe it. So this is what happened. A few weeks ago, I went to a dear friend of mine named Leslie, and she has an incredible edible yard. She really does. She has a lot of edible things, from star fruits, she's got grapefruits, I mean, sugarcane. she had sugarcane, and she said, "Oh, would you love to try some of the sugarcane?" Yeah, of course. So I, you know, because we were there to help her out with her yard, taking care of it and everything. And so I snipped off a piece with my snippers, and I started munching on the thing because I love sugarcane. When I was growing up, my mom and I used to go to one of the local markets, and they had sugarcane there. So we tried sugarcane, and I remember how sweet it was and delicious. And since I love sweet things, then it's just like a sweet plant. Sure, okay. So you know, I spent the rest of the day, you know, wandering around her yard munching on this sugarcane, and I ended up bringing 2 pieces of it home. This is the big piece that I brought home, and I also brought in a small piece. And I was like, how cool would it be if it could grow? So I took the big piece and I just shoved it into the pot. I didn't even do anything. I just put it in there. I forgot about it for 2 weeks. For 2 weeks, it just kind of existed on the side of my yard in an area where I didn't really go to very often. And I completely forgot about it. I went by and I was like, what? Oh, right, it's the sugarcane. And look at how fantastic it's growing. I mean, this is beautiful. And it's got more little buds coming up down here. It's doing fantastic. It loves it. So I'm really proud. I have sugarcane. Now, the second piece I brought home, I rooted it too, but it was a smaller piece. And what I did is I actually laid it down on the soil and covered it up on the sides a little bit. And it grew roots. And it did have a little shoot coming out. And then the squirrels, the darn squirrels. Those things are a pain in my butt. You know, I have a grapevine growing in the front of my yard. Someday I'll show it to you when I clear out all the other stuff that's hiding it right now. But when I first planted it, I had no idea if it was going to survive because the squirrels kept chopping it back. They would come up, 6 inches they would leave from the ground. Fortunately, grapes turn out to be really, really hardy and tough to kill. So it came back, and then they did it again. And then it came back, and by then I had other stuff there, and the neighbors where the squirrels were nesting blockaded where the squirrels were nesting, so the squirrels were no longer nesting there. So they haven't cut it back so far. But I'm so mad at those damn squirrels. And then they stole my sugarcane. You know, it was growing, it was beautiful, it had a little one, and the damn squirrels stole it. I don't know where it is anymore. So I'm really mad about that. Squirrels, there really isn't anything you can do. There's some things you can use to kill them if you want to kill them. You can trap them and let them loose somewhere else if you want, but really all that's doing is creating an opening for another neighbor squirrel to move in. So there really isn't a whole lot you can do. Get a couple of dogs and try to train them to keep the squirrel population under control. My neighborhood cats do a fairly decent job. I finally got my pothos to grow up the tree now that the cats have kept the squirrel population kind of under control. But really, I mean, they're such a pain. Please don't feed the squirrels. I mean, just do the entire neighborhood a favor and just don't feed the squirrels. Let nature take its course. It's really better. Nature knows how to do this so much better than any human being will ever figure it out in their lifetime. So just let nature do its thing. And yeah, you're gonna lose a couple plants every once in a while. Squirrels love hibiscus. Alright, they really do. They love hibiscus flowers, and they're gonna eat your hibiscus flowers. Hibiscus flowers are tasty. They're sweet, delicious, and filled with water. So why wouldn't you eat them? So it's just one of those things you just kind of have to deal with. Chase them off with a broom. Do whatever you can to discourage them from staying in your yard, but there really isn't anything you can do about them. So sadly, I only have one sugarcane now, but it's growing fantastically, and considering how easy it was to root it, I'm sure I will have more sugarcane in the future if I so choose to root more cuttings. Okay, let me show you something else that I got from Leslie's yard, because it's so fantastic. Okay, so these guys, fortunately squirrels haven't gotten to yet. Now this is an unusual plant. It's called a wampi. W-A-M-P-I or I-I. I think it's just one I. W-A-M-P-I or W-A-M-P-E-E. I think it's spelled both ways. This is a fantastic fruiting plant that I got from Leslie. She says it grows large clusters of muscadine grape looking fruits, and they have an unusual but delicious flavor. And they produce fruit about every other year, so that's about when you can expect it. Now, these are just seedlings that were started, I don't know, within the last year. And so it's gonna be about 4 years, maybe 5 years or so before I actually expect to see any fruit from them. Which is okay, that's fine. I'm willing to wait. But I just thought they were so unusual and interesting. And they are edible. I do plan on eating them when they produce fruit. I just got to make sure the damn squirrels don't eat them before that time period. So this is my Wampy. This lovely plant is a mango, and it's a yellow mango, I believe she said it was. This is another lovely Leslie plant, and she has this giant mango tree growing in her yard. Now, mangoes in this region are cold hardy down to about freezing. Too much below that, and they can kind of take a hit when they're young. When they get older, they're a little more resistant to it. I see mangoes growing all over the place in St. Petersburg, where I live. So I'm not really too worried about it. When it's young, yes, of course. As it gets older, I do plan, like all my other fruit trees, to keep it in a pot, just because, again, I lack space, and these trees can get up to, 30, 40 feet. So I do plan to keep this guy in a pot, but he is looking absolutely gorgeous. So mangoes are sweet and delicious. The yellow mangoes especially seem to be a lot sweeter and have a higher sugar content than the red mangoes. I like the red mangoes, but Leslie has yellow mango, and she gave me 2 actually, and of course the squirrels ate the other one. Yeah. But positive, hey, I still got a mango left, and even if they eat this one, I can get another one from her. She's got mangoes growing all over the place because they fall, they rot, if she can't harvest all of them, they'll rot, and they'll actually, we just dug these up right out of her soil, and because they had started from the seeds of the mangoes that fell and weren't picked up in time. So. But it's a beautiful, lovely looking plant, and I'm looking forward to it. Okay? This is the last thing I have to show you for today. This is my giant split-leaf philodendron, and this thing is at least as tall as I am, which is 5 feet, which is pretty darn tall. Now, one of the things I learned, because it's in a spot, again, near that oak tree where that plant and everything else is, I decided to trim off a lot of the lower branches as it grew up, because I kind of liked the way that looked. And then I found out that those lower branches support this trunk, because this trunk is really heavy. It's thick and it's heavy, and it's got roots that actually come off the trunk down into the ground that anchor it, but the leaf branches are actually what kind of props it up. It just, you got your trunk here, and you got your leaf going off in this direction, and it just kind of holds it up. Well, when I removed all those leaves, it fell over. Oops! Oh well, now I know. So I actually have a decorative gong. You can hear me knocking on it. Kind of propping it up for now. Chances are, after looking at this thing, I'm probably going to end up removing it. Not just because it fell over, but it takes up a large space. I have my gate over here, which, is where I come in and out of my backyard from my side yard. And the tree just gets in the way, which is why I was pruning it back, because it was too in the way. I loved the shape of it. I thought it was fantastically gorgeous, amazing, the best specimen I've ever seen. But it's in the way, and that kills me, because I'm not the one who planted it here. It was planted here long before I moved in, and it kills me that now I have to move it because someone else didn't have the foresight to say, hey, this thing's gonna get huge and take up a lot of space. But that's okay, because after I take this out, how much space I'm gonna be able to fill this place up, and I have so many cool shade-loving plants that I want to plant over here. I've got, alocasias and calocasias, your elephant ears, and gingers, and Thai plants, and cyclamen, and I got this thing called Million Bells, Heuchera, you know, all these fantastic, wonderful, shade-loving plants that I just don't otherwise have room for because this giant guy is in the way. So it's not going to happen anytime soon. Well, maybe it will, maybe it depends on, you know, how the winter progresses and my schedule, if it lightens up any, because I am super busy doing more things than I have any right to be doing, but hey, that's just, I like to keep busy. So, yeah, it may or may not happen this winter. I may actually just take it out because I've got to remove all the, I've got a lot of stuff in this area I really need to take out. I've got some ferns that are growing in this area that I just want to take out. I got a whole lot of liriope, which is some grass looking stuff that takes both sun or shade. I just want to get rid of it and clean this out and redo this whole area because it's just, it's not enjoyable. You know, there's really nothing fantastic other than the philodendron to look at over here. And I kind of want to do something along the lines with the bat plant, because the bat plant is over on the other side of this guy. And I would like to do something that kind of matches some sort of dark colored theme in this area, because I've got plenty of dark colored large leafy plants that I can put over here that I think would do well. So again, I'm sad that I ruined such a beautiful plant, but at the same time it'll be fine because it's gonna make way for so many more plants. Instead of just having one plant, I will have at least 10, I'm sure, because that's just kind of how I am. Alright, so that's all I have for you today. I'm about to go trick-or-treating. So, have a fantastic Halloween, and I'll see you next time.